Is everyone healed? Oh, it's gonna take them a sec to pull in. Is anyone here yet? We'll probably be here in a minute. Did you join? Mr. Sonic, is that you? Mr. Sonic. Imagine, like, oh, yep, he's here. Oh, hey, Sonic. Okay, so, the Golden Continents... Oh, also, I think people forget. Also, I want to clarify, I don't actually know how big the continent of New Zealand is, so I just made it, like, a similar size to Australia, but, like, longer and not as, like, wide. Australia is almost as big as the U.S., so there's, like, a U.S.-sized Montana in my world, because of how much I think Montana is just pretty. That is just horrific grammar. Alright, so, the Golden Continent, there's no, like, waste there, besides wastes I created. Maybe that'll change later, but that's how it is now. And hold on. Bro. Listen. You know, I want to argue that's not simping, but I fucking love Montana. We're still on NNN. Oh, no, not November. Hey, yo, that's valid. Bro, the day after, I first, like, fucking lore dumped on... Yo, low-key, I failed. The day after, I streamed, and you watched, and, like, we did, like, the back and forth about my universe. I deadass questioned my friend. I had this friend of mine, fucking loves Sonic. I fucking interrogated him on if, like, you or him. And he was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I wouldn't watch your shitty stream. And I was like, oh, that's fair. Anyway, so... Okay, to be fair, it's not just Montana. So we have one big-ass continent that's just this. Look how peak this is. Bro, look, this is fucking peak. This is fucking peak. Like, this is absolutely peak. Look at this. Bro, I'm from Florida. Florida fucking sucks. Anyone who willingly lives in Florida is lobotomized. I want to get the fuck out of Florida, but I'm too poor to get out of Florida at the moment. Oh shit. Little bastard. Fuck. Damn it, I am a bad shot. You fucking deal! No, it's fine. God, that fucking deal. Okay, maybe it's gonna bleed out because there are like really good mechanics like that in the game. Anyway, so The golden continents, I like the idea that the ecosystem, everything, like all the creatures that live there, are all just things I created. And so, for example, that spider waste that I talked about, like the hive mind, hold on. What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck? Holy shit, wait, what time of the month is it? It's the 21st! Whoa. To make it harder on you, I'm gonna mention that all the races I created, all the females have big boobs. So remember that when I'm talking about all the races I created, that all of the races have big hips and big breasts. Which, by the way, I did not do just to be a degenerate. I did that because, so in my world, you know, any creature, when I say any creature, I mean two-legged, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Hey, okay. So here's a lot of comments, gotta read them all. Hey, sometimes it just be like that. Like, so here's the reason I did it, right? Here's the reason why most women of most races have big breasts in my universe. Here are the official little reasons. First and foremost, if Skywyn can give the lizards boobs and no... Oh, hold on. Listen. If Skywyn can do it with the Argonians, why can't I? That's the first reason. Second reason, so women have larger hips due to the pelvic bone being larger. This is because, well, they need to push out an entire baby. So despite the fact that men typically have thicker, you know, stronger bones, the women's pelvic bone's larger so they can, you know, fit the baby's head out of them. What if, hypothetically, you have a human female, like a fairly, small waist, giving birth to, like, a minotaur baby? Like... So, because of that, by the way, I want to clarify something. When I say any race can breed with one another and produce offspring, again, it's very binary. So, like, if a minotaur and a human were to breed, and, like, the minotaur was female and the human was male, all male children would be human, and all female children... I'm sorry, and all minotaurs would... Oh, goddamn, okay. Minotaur male, human female, right? All male children would be the waist of the father. Okay, why am I so retarded? Like, why am I simply unable to speak? If an elf man and a human female were to breed and make children, all male children would be the same waist as the elf, because the elf is, the father. All female children would be the same waist as the mother, because, it's a girl. So if a minotaur, which is like 8 feet tall, hold on. Yeah, so because of that, a minotaur baby would be much larger than a human baby. And you could just say, we'll make all the babies the same size. Well, that's kind of fucked up that you'd say that, because there's a reason why an elephant baby is larger than a cow baby. Because the smaller a baby is, the harder it is to survive. So that's why all female races in my universe have large hips, so they can have large pelvic bones, so that way, children don't die. So I did that specifically so that way, babies don't die. And I gave them big boobs because I'm a degenerate. There's no, like, scientific reason I did that. I could argue that to mammary glands, but, like, it's fat. Like, the mammary glands kind of grow, or, like, develop, not grow, develop, but they happen. Hold on. So mammary gland, women obviously have mammary glands, but they activate, whenever they have a kid. So the actual, like, when a woman's not breastfeeding, it's just a giant pile of fat on her chest. That's what the breasts are. So I don't know. They have big boobs for fucking whatever reason. Don't even worry about that. But anyway, so the non-degenerate reasons. So I created a number of races in the Golden Continent, and one of them actually descends from... Hold on. Okay. The actual reason I did it, and you need to hear me out when I say this, I feel like it would make the people in the universe less racist. Yeah, okay. So think about it this way, right? And I want to get off this topic because this is... This isn't a Guno universe. This isn't fucking Monster Musume. This is like an actual, like, really developed universe. This is just like one, like, teensy tiny... This was just the author having fun, and I am the author. I feel like it'd make people less racist. And so, like, again, I'm just saying, right? I have actually talked to fairly racist people. At least the racist people I've talked to, they stop being racist when when they find the race attractive. So I'm just saying, hold on. Yeah, so I'm just saying, I think there'd be less racism if I made all of the races really hot. And I made them all attracted to each other. I'm just saying. Like, an elf will be here like, oh, these dirty fucking humans. They're so dirty. They disgust me. I hate them. These primitives. They disgust me. They invented my race just to conceal me. They see an attractive human? -5 racism. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Okay, so... what are some of the races Okay, so one of the races that I created are, of course, those spider people. Those spider people are fucking creepy. They're really weird. They're really creepy. And for the most part, they just kind of live in caves, and they're just kind of chilling. By the way, if you kill enough of the spiders in the collective, they lose consciousness. But they don't lose consciousness as in, like, they fall asleep. No, they physically, essentially, revert back to animate. Hold on. So they essentially revert back into animals. So if there's 100,000 spiders, you kill like 90,000 of them. They lose their consciousness, and they just kind of are spiders that will just kind of stick together until they eventually have enough spiders, until they will multiply enough, until the point where they regain their consciousness. And is that little fucking shit? I'm gonna fucking kill you. God fucking damn it! Yo, why am I so Probably because I don't shoot in this game, I just walk around. So when I try to shoot something to look cool, I suck at it. Little shit. Oh, yeah, so... The spider people are kind of weird, and it's also implied that they're not originally from our dimension. And that's kind of why dragons hate them, because they're not supposed to be here. They're not native to our dimension. They're native to somewhere else. And only a single spider made it into our reality. Oh my god, why am I so ass? Yo, level 1 shooting. I'm gonna read your comment and let the little bastard go. Hey, sometimes just be... Listen, I'm an A-class Fortnite player and a fucking negative class... Is this guy killing himself? Oh my god, why? You know what? That guy... that guy... I do not deserve to get that kill. That guy deserves to live. And I'm gonna head back to the house to get some ammo. Okay, so these weird spider people are implied to be from the dark dimension. So I talked about in the first one that, or maybe I didn't, I don't know, that there are several different dimensions. Like heaven it is its own dimension, hell is its own dimension. There's this dark dimension where there are no gods, there's essentially nothing ruling it but parasites. Then there's all dimension. You do not go to heaven and hell when you die. Heaven and hell are just different places with different entities that do not want what's best for you. So having an encounter with an angel, angels should probably be avoided if they somehow slip into our reality, and demons should also be avoided. So in this world, a lot of really odd things. Oh yeah, so one of the other races I created. So mimics do exist in my world, and there are two kinds of mimics. There are the Vena Coinus-esque. Yeah, you ever watch Vena Coinus? There are mimics that are not too dissimilar from Vena Coinus that will just, except they can actually like, infiltrate human society really well, or like any society really. They're not racist. They'll eat anybody. Fuck! I was too loud, so the stupid fucking deal got away. Hold on. Bro, I should make the Montana dimension. I think having like over like an American-sized, because America's huge. Australia is almost as big as America. I think having an entire continent of this might be enough, but maybe I should make an entire Montana dimension. Anyway, it's not actually known if these spiders are from the dark dimension. Like, not also. So here's the thing with my universe. Half of my universe is me discovering stuff and being told stuff by characters in dreams. And when I'm usually dreaming and I'm in this world, hold on, what do you type? I'm gonna have the Montana dimension, and there's this guy called Liz Pemmeldale, and he's like really, really strong, and he's like the Giga Chad, and he's like the god of everything, trust me. That just turns into a shitty isekai. No, but, so in this world, hold on, I just lost my train of thought. What was I? Oh, yeah, so, my dumbass thought that was an actual deal. This is just like the target range. Yeah, so in the world, there are these different places. And it's not actually known where spiders came from, but it is known that they're not native to our world. And in fact, they actually, the group of spider, the only spider that made it into our world, actually multiplied enough and actually developed consciousness millions of years ago. And its first thing that it discovered is the world dragon. It sensed it, realized that the world dragon did not sense it yet. Hold on. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, there are actually times where straight up I have had dreams where I've been Isekai Dale. And in the dreams, I'm not OP. I'm strong, but in the same way like Mike Tyson is strong, where like if 5 dudes jump him, or they just stab him in the back while he's walking, he dies. So like, I'm strong in like that way. Where like, if 10 of me jump Mike Tyson's gonna fucking die. Like 10 of me, come on, but okay, maybe 15, but 10, like 3 or 4 dudes who know how to fight jump Mike Tyson's dead. So I'm strong in that regard, where like a group of people jump me, I'm fucking dead. And normally when I'm in the universe, I'm just chilling, or those times where straight up my own characters will just lore drop me information. And so like half of my world is me coming up with stuff, and the other half, hold on. Dog, I don't know if myself in the dream intentionally. I dream, and I don't know I'm in the dream. I think that is like the real world. And then I wake up and I'm like, God fucking damn it, why does life suck? The other world's so much cooler. But then I'm like, shit, man, I have a bunch of glue. I'm gonna go wipe this shit down. So like half of the world is stuff I created, and the other half is stuff that my mind just kind of subconsciously created. So yeah, it's kind of cool in that regard, because that, like, my subconscious created half the universe and my conscious created the other half. Oh yeah, so half of it gets created when I'm sleeping and I have a dream where I'm there for months on end, or even years. Like, I've had dreams where I've been in this world for years. And the other half, straight up, is I just do a shitload of drugs and I walk around in the rain. And I just walk around in the rain. Hold on. You know what? Maybe I should. But to be fair, as I talked about in my the first time we did this, I hate the idea of super overpowered characters, or oh my god, this is so fucking peak. The clouds are like fucking golden. Oh my god, this is so pretty. Oh yeah, I hate the idea of overpowered characters, and I hate the idea of winning a fight just because you're way stronger than someone. To me, that's just boring. Like, I don't like fights where it's, oh, the power of friendship, or we just get super buff, and we just beat this guy no difficulty. Like, it's cool, like seeing the first time, someone overpowers and just kills someone with zero difficulty. Well, I've had people who made fun of me for my obsession with Montana, but then I show them this shit, and they're like, oh my god, this is so pretty. Like, bro, Montana is peak. Look at this shit. Bro, I literally bought this game specifically as a Montana walking sim. That's why I'm so shitty at hunting. Well, that's at least my excuse. Is because it's just, I like, just look how pretty this is. Oh my god. Yeah, so, god, maybe this is a shitty game to, like, lore dump on, because my dumbass will keep getting distracted by how pretty Montana is. Oh yeah, so I hate the idea of a character being super OP and just winning a fight. That's boring to me. What I like is, you ever watch Demon Slayer Season 2? Hold on. Oh, hell yes. Whoa. So pretty. Oh yeah, so, here's the thing. You ever watch Demon Slayer Season 2? In Demon Slayer Season 2, there was a fight between Tengen and Upper Moon 6. In my opinion, that's one of the best fights in anime, because it's an actual fight. Like, Tengen is in the gutter. He is using everything he has to beat this guy who's like evenly matched with him. And that's the kind of fight I love. I love, even in I'm not gonna spoil the Demon Slayer movie in case you haven't seen it. But in that movie, there is a fight between two Demon Slayers and one demon. And the demon is slightly stronger than the two of them combined, but not so much so that he can just one-shot them. It's still an actual fight. I love these, like, deep, gritty fights. So yeah, that's why I kind of hate the idea of a super overpowered protagonist. Oh, again, I also just don't like the idea of a single dude who's so strong that it makes him above the law, because I feel like most stories are handled that well. But I've talked about that before. I like the idea that you can be so strong, you can take on 10 people in a fight. Hold on. Would you? Well, hell yeah, because, like, dog, imagine having, like, a porch that's, like, that right there. In there, in that, like, house, imagine sitting there having a TV, like, right in front of, like, the glass, and you're watching the TV, you're watching Demon Slayer Season 2, while all these pretty clouds and all this, like, pretty mountains are in the background. That's fucking peak. Yeah, so, I like these, like, really gritty fights. I don't like the idea of someone wins because they're just way stronger than them. I like the idea that anyone can be strong. And, I talked about the power system. I'm not gonna, like, waste time talking about the power system. I did not go fully in detail about the power system, but you know enough about the power system to, like, know what I'm talking about. Well, an average person who trains and works hard, a group of them who've also trained and worked hard, like, a group of average people, like 12 average people who've trained hard, should be able to beat up any human who's ever lived. Hold on. Well, maybe that's due to autism, ADHD, or retardation. Any of them, I don't know. But I do have kind of an issue where I'll just lock on to something and I'll just become obsessed with it. Like, there are times where, like, for 3 days straight, I'll just, like, drink so much fucking caffeine, and I will just purely obsess over a universe. Or, like, creating something. Like, the fantasy world, Nameless Fantasy, is not the only world I've created. I also have a thing called Empty Nation. Empty Nation is a world where in World War One. So in World War One, I suck at names. So our president in World War One, I believe our president in World War One was Woodrow Wilson. I might be fucking up the name because I suck at names. So, if Woodrow Wilson is not the correct name for our president in World War One, then anytime I say Woodrow Wilson, just remember that, swap it out for whoever was our president in World War One. So our president in World War One, I believe it was Woodrow Wilson, was a shitty dude. Like, he was such a fucking cunt. He was a racist, a sexist, and he was an abuser. He was a big fan of eugenics. Eugenics is that, thing Hitler was a big fan of killing crippled and, mentally disabled people. He was a huge fucking cunt. He also had this retarded idea that the United States was so far above the rest of the world that the United States should that pretty much the entire world should worship the United States because the United States is the only country intelligent enough to not go to war. Even though this is in World War One, not that far away from, the fucking Civil War. Fucking retard. So I don't like Woodrow Wilson. I don't like him. So I have an entire world shitting on him. This universe and Woodrow Wilson, but here's the other thing. Woodrow Wilson was evil, but he was incompetent. So in my world, what if Woodrow Wilson was very competent? So Woodrow Wilson actually is a really good president. The economy is going pretty well. Everything happens. The Great Depression still does happen, but he actually does a good job at feeding people and, rebounding from it. Oh, I'm sorry. The Great Depression was a little bit after World War II. So in this timeline, Woodrow Wilson, still a president for a while, but he essentially creates a brand new political party known as the American Peace Party. Oh no, the American Global Peace Party. The Global American Peace Party becomes the dominant force in the United States. Like, it is the majority in the Senate, the majority in the House, and pretty much every president from this point on is a member of the American Peace Party. But the American Peace Party really only affects World War One still goes the same, and the American Peace Party really only affects America as a whole. It doesn't really affect the rest of the world. So Hitler still rises to power. World War II still happens. And World War II goes fairly similar, with the United States getting attacked by Japan, except the United States is slightly stronger in this timeline due to the United States rebounding from the Great Depression. But the United States rebounding from the Great Depression still due to, Lend-Lease and, giving weapons and taking loans and, toning on our factories to help support the rest of the world. So in this timeline, we still nuke Japan twice and we still accept their surrender. Except the main differential in this timeline, because again, all the American Peace Party stuff, that wouldn't really affect the majority. What the hell? What the fuck? Holy shit, this deal's attacking me. I just got attacked by a deal. No, pull out the fucking rifle, you fucking idiot! Pull out the rifle! Okay, well, I just got attacked by a deal, and then the fucking deal ran off. Okay, so the American Peace Party... Are you still here, Mr. Sonic? So the American Peace Party, going in after World War II. Hold on. Yeah, kinda. So World War II as a whole still goes the kind of same. Holocaust happens, Rape of Man King happens, America attacks... I'm sorry, Japan attacks Pearl Harbor, we beat the shit out of, Japan. But what happens next... Have you ever heard of Project Unthinkable? Project Unthinkable is a proposed military plan that the British came up with. And the general idea was, Winston Churchill was like, okay, World War II just got wrapped up. World War III is going to happen, and it's going to be the United States. Hold on. That's fair. Okay, it's still in a fairly early development, but so this world is definitely not as developed as the fantasy world. Hold on. Well, currently I am developing this world. Like, it's still ongoing. It's still like a fairly early stage. It's not as developed as fantasy. I will, but I do like the idea that World War II probably does change a little bit due to the United States going into it a teensy bit stronger. But like, the United States was still in a recession. Just a recession we bounded quicker. Hold on. Yeah, so Project Unthinkable was this idea that Britain did not want to. Well, Britain did not want to be in between the United States and Russia. Britain, especially Winston Churchill, did not think the United States and Russia would get into a Cold War. He thought that the United States and Russia would go into a hot war, and he did not want Britain to be stuck between the Soviet Union and America, because he knew that America would essentially be using us as a shield. Would essentially be using Britain as a shield. He didn't want that. So Project Unthinkable was that the United States would nuke every single Russian city, and then would the German soldiers, like the German POWs, would unite with the U.S. So the remaining Nazis would join the United States war front. So essentially, Britain, all Nazis that were not killed, and France would essentially march into Russia and destroy Russia. But the reason why the war would be so easy is because if we nuked all Russian cities, Russian supply lines would collapse. So due to the Russian supply line collapsing, he thought that, Britain and, the United States could win. So he wanted to ally with the collapsed Nazis and, essentially genocide Russia. Holy shit, Winston Churchill's a fucking evil freak. In this world, the American Global Peace Party agrees to this. And the current president of the United States is not the crippled dude. It is, some random fucking asshole who all developed, but for now he's unnamed. He just does random bullshit. So the American president agrees to Winston Churchill's plan, and essentially the entirety of the British military is in Russia, mopping up the Soviet Union. And due to this, Britain is essentially left defenseless, like the actual homeland. So American troops who are quote unquote going home, because the war is essentially done, quote unquote going home, fucking storm Britain, hold Parliament and Churchill. Well, they kill Churchill, but they hold the royal family and Parliament hostage until Britain immediately capitulates. Under the threat of American invasion, the fact that the actual British army is being held at nuke point, the British government is being held at gunpoint. So the British army is in Russia being held at nuke point, and the British government is being held at physical gunpoint by the US. Because of this, Britain becomes the 50... Would this actually be the 48th state or 49th state? Because I don't know if Alaska and Hawaii were states, but anyway, whatever. Britain becomes the next state, and the United States gets really fucking power hungry and decides to hold the entire world at nuclear gunpoint to usher in an era of peace. They do not. They technically speaking, issue in an era of peace. It's a really shitty era of peace because the United States essentially holds the entire world hostage for decades. Also, the only two areas of the world that had like nuclear scientists or like nuclear scientists at the time was Europe and America. America executes any nuclear scientist who does not join the United States. So if you're a nuclear scientist in, let's say, Britain, you can straight up go back to you can come to the homeland of the U.S. and be fucking rich by not even doing anything, just by holding the knowledge in the U.S. But if you become a professor, you become a scientist, you become unfathomably wealthy. So or you can, be shot in Britain. So because of that, the American Peace Party essentially has a stranglehold on all nuclear knowledge in the entire world. Meaning intercontinental ballistic missiles still develop, but only the US has them. There's no Russia to balance it out. And also the United States are being massive like, when I say the United States becomes evil, I believe this was in the 60s. The American Peace Party, after giving India a warning, because India fell short on iron and copper exports twice, the United States nuked an Indian city, wiping out over 20 million people because they're in a very dense area. Hold on, what do you text? Russia did own Alaska, but Russia. Okay, so here's a quick history thing. By the way, that's very intelligent that you know that. But I do believe your timelines are a little bit off. The Russian Empire before World War I or during World War I. No, I think it was before World War I or during whatever. Doesn't matter. They sold us Alaska. I do not know exactly what time period that happened, but after the Russian Empire sold us Alaska, the Russian Empire collapsed not too long after, and then the Soviet Union happened, World War I happened, all that stuff. I believe it was before World War I where they sold us the thing, but I'm not too sure. I have to look into that. Either way, Alaska is still owned by the US. But let's just take a look at the world a couple decades after the United States holds the whole world at nuclear gunpoint. Russia is so fucking badly nuked, the population is super tiny. The population that exists there is a United States puppet state that essentially uses its population as slaves to extract natural resources. Is that a fucking bale? Holy shit, I gotta lock in. Hold up. It's a fucking bale. I shot it in the neck, come on. I shot it again, come on. Oh, come on, 3 shots, 3 shots. Oh, no, 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 no! Come on, 3 shots! Oh, come on, 3 shots! Oh, come on, man. Okay, hopefully, if I'm lucky, it just fucking died over there. Okay, I've only seen a bale once in this game. I want to see how much money I can get from the bale, so I am gonna have to lock in a little bit to go get the bale. Okay, so, the United States still has Alaska. I believe that even like before the timeline changes that much. Hold on, what'd you say? I mean, shit, man, it's a cool bale. I had to go get the bale. Bro, I fucking hate bales in real life. Like, bales are genuinely like one of my worst feels. Alright, so a few decades after World War II, Britain is actually pretty rich. Like, Britain is actually doing better than an all-time line. The United States is also super rich. And the reason they're super rich is because, again, they bully the entire world. If the United States wants something, they will just take it. Like, if the United States wants iron, India will ship us iron for free, or we will nuke them. Same thing with hold on. Hold on, what did you text? I like Valentine's Day, I just fucking hate bales. Bales have an A-class... Bales are a shitty animal that have an A-class marketing team. First of all, bales are little fucking parasites. I hate them. That's actually why I haven't created bale people in my universe, because I know I'd be racist to them. And that's like the whole point of my fantasy world is don't be racist. But if I create bale people, I know I'm gonna be fucking... I know I'm gonna be racist to them because I fucking hate bales so much. So I haven't created... Hold on. I think Valentine's Day is a really good holiday. I feel like I'm gonna like it more when I eventually have a girlfriend. But even now, I think it's a cool holiday. I like all the major holidays. There's no like big holiday I dislike. This fucking bale got away. Fuck that bale. Fucking hate this game. 3 shots. I shot that thing in the fucking neck. And it's gone. That's fucking lovely. I'm thinking it had to have gone down. That's 3 shots. Although bales are so fucking fat that it might have gotten away. Yeah, I mean, I like all. Again, Halloween's the best holiday, but Valentine's Day is valid. It's a good holiday. Okay, so the Russian government does exist, but the current Russian government in Nameless is a U.S. puppet that only exists to put the people to work, to make the. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, hey, little guy. Yo, it's a little badger. Hey, little badger. Hey, little guy. Holy shit, this guy's fucking tanky. Jesus Christ. Am I using bolt shot or something? Bolt shot should have whipped this guy's head off by now. What the fuck? Okay, it finally died. Holy shit. Oh, how the fuck did you survive that? How the fuck did you survive that? How the fuck did you keep running? I shot you in the fucking head. What the fuck? $13. Fuck this game. Holy shit. Oh, hey, little guy. Wanna join your friend in hell? Oh, there's so many little... Okay, I'm just gonna kill these fucks real quick. Hey, get back here, little guy. Oh, hold on. Well... people gotta eat, and you know, it's the way of the world, you know? Like, sometimes I didn't get to kill the bale, so these guys lose their permission to live. Holy shit! What the fuck are these things made out of? Listen, you know, it's the way of the world. Sometimes just be like that. You know, like, I don't see that badger giving me what's the holiday called again? A Valentine's Day card. Okay, so, currently, in the Nameless government, or in the Nameless universe, let's say this is the 60s. The United States still has a space program. Not because, but here's the thing. The real United States space program only really happened because the United States wanted to beat Russia, because Russia had a space program. Hold on. They're made of what muscles? Yeah, so in the 60s, in the Nameless timeline, Russia is still very radioactive, and the Russian government is a puppet that only exists to allow America to exploit the country for natural resources. Like that, the government literally just exists for that. And if they rebel or they fight back, they get nuked again. Also, communication between countries is heavily monitored and not really allowed. Only between governments. And most governments are fairly tyrannical to their people because they get to be very rich alongside the Americans if they keep their people down and, you know, they, as long as they suppress their people, they stop uprisings and stuff, they get to be very wealthy alongside the U.S. government. But the average American citizen at this time is so rich. Like, the American economy was doing well in the real-life 60s and 50s. This time it's on fucking steroids. Because instead of having a good economy and being able to, you know, go buy iron or go buy copper or whatever, they will straight up just look at a country and be like, hey, give us this or we will nuke you. So essentially the whole world's enslaved, with two exceptions. Britain is a part of the U.S., so it's a part of the U.S. Germany and Japan are America's two buddies. Germany and Japan are rich, and they're helping us suppress the world. In the 50s, I'm sorry, in World War II, there was this thing called the Unit 731. Unit 731 can only be described as pure evil. The reason we know so much about hypothermia is because these guys tested it on Chinese civilians. The reason we know humans are 70% water is because these guys made people jerky out of intact human people while they were alive, and they boiled out people, and they realized that they were about 70% lighter when they removed all the water. Unit 731 were fucking monsters. In our timeline, we allowed them to walk free. These people who are just as bad, if not worse, than the fucking Nazis, the Japanese Unit 731, we allowed them to walk free in our timeline. In this timeline, the US government recruited them and allowed them to keep up the quote-unquote good work. Also let off the hook and were allowed to keep doing their good work, which is also really extremely fucked up. Japan is also keeping up their good work at fucking up China. Yeah, it is. This I talked about in the first time we talked. Antarctica, the Antarcticans being really evil. I think the Americans from Nameless has to be probably the worst and most evil thing I've created. Like, there are individuals and like small groups of evil, but this is like the biggest large government I've created that's this evil. Evil is the only good word. Because they value Woodrow Wilson's plan a lot. And again, I might be fucking up the name. The president of the United States during World War I. He was a fan of eugenics, so crippled and disabled and like mentally disabled babies get fucking executed. People who are disabled get forcefully sterilized, or they get executed. So the United States is not too different from Nazi Japan. I'm sorry, Nazi Japan from Nazi Germany. So yeah, there's a reason why our two best friends in this timeline are, Japan and Germany, and why Japan and Germany are completely let off the hook. God fucking damn it! I've never seen bales before. I've only seen one bale before, but all the bales are running. I can't believe I shot that bale in the fucking neck earlier and it got away. And there's just a bale right here. I hate this game. I'm gonna do horrible things to the developers of this game. I'm gonna touch their booty hole. Oh yeah, so Europe is fairly wealthy compared to the rest of the world, but they're still worse off than an all-time line, but they're pretty well off. The United States, Japan, Germany though are infinitely richer than an all-time line. Correct, but I still love Montana, so I still love the game. Yeah, so now the main. I have a lot of different universes, and most of my universes are fairly negative, especially to like people in general. Like, it has a fairly negative outlook on life. My fantasy world is definitely the most positive. Like, it's probably the only like really positive piece of fiction I've created. This mostly represents, first of all, my fucking hatred of Woodrow Wilson. He's a fucking asshole. Secondly, I've told a lot of people about this universe, and most people have the same response. Oh, well, if I was in this world under this tyrannical government that was, terrorizing people, I would rebel against that government. I would never, ever, be under a government like that. Man, I'd rebel. That's retarded. That's kind of retarded. Because the United States, I love America. I think the United States is a wonderful country. I would never, do anything bad against the U.S. government. But that's also because we're comfortable. The United States government, although I would say is good, is not entirely good. The United States has done a lot of evil shit. The United States did a war in Iraq that killed 1 million innocent people, and nobody bats an eye. The people who did that war should be in jail. Like, the politicians who led us to genocide 1 million people, that is evil. Like, people rightfully do not give credit to the Nazis because the Nazis were evil. The Nazis killed millions. We killed 1 million, so not as bad, but we still killed innocent people. Like, people, goat farmers, these were not educated people. These were and when I say million people, these weren't military. These were civilians. These were people who had poor education, people who were just living their fucking lives, you know, with just a goat farmer, for example, getting fucking bombed by technology he didn't even knew existed. What we did in Iraq was evil. On top of that, there was also this thing, I believe it was called the Road to Hell, where a bunch of civilians were trying to escape one of the Middle Eastern countries we were fucking bombing, and we bombed the civilians trying to escape. So, I've had a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, if I was in that world, you just rebel. I know you wouldn't, because you're not doing anything in our world. Except the thing is, the people in nameless history, that's the name of this world. They're fucking rich. Like, the Americans in that world are so... Oh, there's deal over there. The Americans in that world are so unfathomably wealthy compared to us in our timeline. In our timeline, I don't know how old you are, Mr. Sonic, but if you're like my age, like, a young adult, you're probably never gonna buy a house. The housing market's fucked. The car market's fucked. The economy is fucked. So, we are living under an evil government that killed 1 million fucking people. And has done a lot of other evil shit. Like, remember after World War II, black soldiers were just selected and fucking given, diseases and then were allowed to go back to their homes to spread those diseases? That is fucking evil. And nobody... Hold on, what'd you say? Yeah, it is true. And does that make the average American evil? No, I didn't have a part of that. I hate that war. But would I ever rebel violently against the U.S. government? Hell no. I don't want to die. I don't want to go to jail. I'm having a comfortable life. Even though, you know, compared to the 1950s, we're poor. I would genuinely argue a mailman from the 1950s is wealthier than a modern-day doctor. And the reason I'd argue that is a mailman from the 1950s could afford a house, his wife didn't have to work, and guess what? He could have multiple kids and be fine. Die debt-free, pay off his mortgage easily. A doctor today has to spend decades paying off those fucking student loans, has to spend, most likely has to have his wife working unless he's really well off, and is going to struggle a lot. Even if he does, like, end up richer than the mailman, he has to go through way more struggle than the mailman did. Hold on, I have to kill these fucking things. Ooh, shit, I haven't seen those guys around here. I thought those were only upstream. Okay, hold on one second. Before I start criticizing the U.S. again, I have to fucking lock in. I need to get a kill that isn't one of those tiny little dudes. Ah, damn it. I got... that one of them might have died, or, like, might succumb to its injuries. I'm gonna follow him and see. Like, the United States has done so much shit. And compared to what other countries done, like, we killed 1 million people. The Nazis killed 6 million fucking Jews. And, you know, killed 5 to 6 million other people, like gays, cripples, communists. So, the United States is fucking evil, but compared to other countries, we're still better than them. And that's fucking horrifying, because the quote-unquote good guys are still evil. Or are still bad. And here's one thing that I hear a lot. People saying, oh, the U.S. fucking sucks. Compared to most countries, the United States is really good. For example, modern-day China, like the current modern-day Chinese government, straight up has concentration camps with Muslim people. That is evil. Japan killed more people than the fucking Nazis did in World War II. The Russians killed more people than the Nazis did in World War II, but not during World War II, but Russian gulags. Oh, if you were even like, there was a rumor you said something bad about, you know, Russia, you'd be thrown into a fucking gulag, and holy shit, your life is ruined. Your life is horrible now. You are now going to be walking until you're going to be walking to, you know, you're dead. So I see the United States is evil, but I see we are still a force of good. Even though we're evil. So we're not the good guys, we're just the least evil guys. And hold on. You know what? That's fail. This is a fairly depressing, you know. That's a. I'm gonna get off the topic. I will respect your request, but yeah, I'm just gonna get off that topic. Okay, so some of the new species I created in the Golden Continents. One of them are these weird, like, squid slash dolphin people, or slash like shark dolphin. They're kind of like a mix of squid, sharks, and dolphins. Visually, though, they look mostly human. They're a race of monster that are typically lawful neutral. Like, don't, okay, so when I say a race is like chaotic evil, they can be whatever they want. It's just like it's just, you know, what they're most likely gonna be doing. It's more like the stereotype. So there's nothing stopping one of these squid people from being, you know, lawful good or, you know, lawful evil or chaotic evil. It's just that most likely they're gonna be, you know, lawful neutral. These squid people are about 7 to 6 feet, 6 to 7 feet tall, and they're physically strong, but they have very thick skin. Now, what is most like unique about these squid people is their bone structure. Now, their bones. Have you ever heard of oobleck? If you haven't heard of oobleck, let me educate you. Oobleck is a liquid, but if you punch it, or if you, like, it goes through the heavy impact, like a lot of shock goes into it, it becomes hard. The squid people's bones are the exact opposite. Where their bones are normally hard, which allows them to have, like, which allows them to have muscle fibers that connect to their bones. But if their bones, okay, Mr. Sonic, what happens if I tie you up and I fucking hit you in the shin with a baseball bat? Your shin breaks. One of these squid people, if I tie them up and hit them with a baseball bat, their shin would essentially turn to rubble, like the bone, and then would reharden a few minutes or a few seconds later. So, because of that, they essentially have unbreakable bones, not due to their bones being indestructible, but due to their bones absorbing the shock. They're also fairly strong, and they have a decent... Oh shit, there's some deal. Hold on. Hold on. Oh no, I shot it in the ass. Damn it. Yo, I suck at this game. Yo, that was a good shot and I fucked it up. I'll get better eventually. Even though I like this game, I haven't put much hours into it. Oh yeah, so because of this, impact damage doesn't really do anything. And also, all their organs are very squishy, similar to squids. So, humans have a ribcage for a reason. We have to protect their organs. These guys, their organs will, like, if you punch them really hard, their bones will soften, so that way their bones don't break. And their organs will just kind of squish and will be fine. Now, the reason why bones are so important is... Okay, here's an experiment, right? Hold up a shovel right up to your body, then hold a shovel, like, far away, like, point it away. It becomes really hard, but you can still do that if you're strong enough, because your muscles have connective tissue that connects them to the bones. Now, the reason that's important is, again, having a solid structure. So muscles can only be so strong if you don't have said solid structure. So that's why a squid is very, like, a normal squid's strong, but its strength is limited. Like, if a squid had bones, the squid would be much stronger due to the muscles being able to actually have like a solid foundation to anchor onto. But the thing is, squids are very impressive because they don't have bones. That means they can kind of shapeshift and, you know, not shapeshift, but they can kind of contort their bodies, however. This kind of has the best of both worlds, where their bones can be squishy to avoid breaking, but it's still a nice anchor for their muscles. So these weird squid people have essentially kind of the best of both worlds. I also gave them thick skin, so that way it's harder for them to be like pierced by a weapon. Like a weapon can still pierce them, of course, but like cutting them is gonna be hard. If you want to kill them, impact weapons like a hammer would suck against them because again, all their stuff can just squish. Slashing them with a sword kind of sucks because again, their skin's very thick. Stabbing them though, yeah, stabbing them is a good way to kill them. If I don't get one kill in this game, I'm gonna crash the fuck out. Had to have done something. Probably not, but I'm gonna check it out anyway. So, yeah, that's the squid people. Also, they have their skin. They also have a little ability where they do not have gills, but they can essentially breathe in water, and their lungs will fill with the water, and they can absorb the oxygen from the water. But this is uncomfortable for them, and they can only do it for a couple hours. If they're trained, they can do it for like a whole day. But yeah, they're not like aquatic. They're mostly like land-based, but they can survive in water for hours. So yeah, that's the squid people. I also created a race known as the chinchilla. The chinchilla are literally just chinchilla people. Why are there chinchilla people? I'm gonna do horrible things to these deal. Hold on. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill you. I've never played Splatoon, but maybe. I know in Splatoon it's like weird squid people, but I'm not too sure. So yeah, they're kind of like, well, the thing is though, these guys have very thick skin, and they have like a little body fat that can help them survive the cold, especially in like water. These guys are fucking jacked though. Like these guys are strong enough to just grab a human and just fucking break its neck with very little difficulty. They also do have wizards and stuff like that, like humans do. A little race of people I created are known as the chinchilla. The chinchilla are literally just little guys I created. They're literally just chinchilla people I created, and their whole thing is they're just supposed to be small, cute little guys. They're about 4 feet tall. They're covered in fur. They have big ears, and they literally just live in like tiny little. You ever watch The Hobbit? They're kind of. Now I think about it, they're probably kind of based off of hobbits. They typically live by themselves with their wife or husband and their families. They create like a small log cabin or like, you know, a little burrow. You know, kind of like hold on. Yeah, I love the chinchilla. Okay, so most of the races. So we've gone through 3 races in the Golden Continent. The squid people, who are designed to be a perfect warrior race. The fucking spider demons, who will crawl in your brain, fucking take over your mind. And then we have the chinchilla, which are just little guys who run around. The chinchilla live in small family groups. Whenever they grow up, they will build their own house or, you know, start their own family with a little chinchilla. They're covered in fur. They're just little guys. Their ears and their eyes glow neon green when they're happy. Hold on, I have to kill these fucking deal. If they ran away already, I'm gonna crash the fuck out. They did. I'm a shitty hunter. Oh yeah, they're also vegetarian. They literally survive just by running around the forest during the day, eating mushrooms and eating berries and stuff. And they literally just sleep all night. They sleep for like 12 hours a day. They're just little guys I created. So we have actual like demonic hell beast that's supposed to be the scariest, most horrific thing I've ever created. Then we have a species that is purely. The squid people are not like naturally violent. Oh shit, a fox.